Okay, so here's a video on proportional relationships, and the language used here is pretty important. We've got this idea of proportional relationship, and what we're actually going to look at now is direct proportion. Okay, so let's have a look at this question. So as you read the question, so this seems okay to do. This surely is just 6 times 1.50 euros, which is 9 euros. And then what is the average cost for each box? Well, it's pretty obvious, right? It's just that 150 euros. And then 10 boxes for the next question. How much do 10 boxes cost? 10 times €1.50 equals 15 euros. And again, the average cost for each box is, well, it's the same, isn't it? It's €1.50. 3 boxes, that's 3 times €1.50, which is €4.50. And again, the average cost is €1.50. 0 boxes, well, 0 boxes, if we bought 0, then surely we'd pay €0. Okay, and the average cost for box, well, it's still 150, right? Because that's how much it would cost if you went to the shop. And how much do B boxes cost? Well, you can sort of see the clear pattern, right? This is the number of boxes you buy, and you just multiply it by 150. So whatever the number of boxes is, we'll call it B for the number of boxes. Just times it by 150, and that gives us the total cost. And now all of that goes towards this particular picture down the bottom. We've got a table of values and we've got a graph. So 0 boxes, 0 cash, 150, 3, 450, 9, and 15. If you have a little look at the axes, on the x-axis, can you see this is the number of boxes? And we call this the independent variable. Okay, as we change the number of boxes, then that really determines the y variable, the cost. We call this the dependent variable. And all that's left to do is to plot our points 0, 0. I think it was 2, it was 3. 1 was 1.5. 3 was 4.5. 6 was 9 and 10 was 15. So 6 was 9 and 10 was 15. And if you want to be super technical, we would maybe join that up with a dashed line, because we can't really buy 4.3 boxes, but we'll just fill it up with a full line like that, straight line. And there we go, there's the picture of the table of values and the graph. And then we'll go over the page, and here's one already made. And this actually shows direct proportional. So what we do is we say that the cost in euros is directly proportional to the number of boxes. Can you see it's upward sloping for this one? As the number of boxes increases, so does the total cost. Now let's go and look at some of the main features. The graph is a straight line. Well, that kind of makes sense. All the points from a straight line. The graph passes through the origin 0, 0. Can you see that there? As well as that also makes sense, right? Because 0 boxes, 0 cash. Now this is the interesting one. All the x and y coordinates on the line follow the same rule. Now if you look back to the first few questions here, did you notice we always just multiplied the number of boxes by 1.5? The number of boxes were multiplied by 1.5. So when this Third point says all the x and y coordinates follow the same rule. The rule is to get from the boxes to the total cost, always the same rule. And what was that rule? Well, the rule was times 1.5. Okay, so that's rule number 3. And then point number 4 here is the rule can be written as y equals m multiplied by x. Okay, well, we've kind of got that written out. The rule is y, the dependent variable, equals 1.5 times by x. You could, if you wanted to, let me just get rid of that. You could, if you wanted to, write that with, there we go, make it a little bit thinner. You could, if you wanted to, write that with the actual variables, cost equals 1.5 times boxes. That would be great. And then the final part here to get your head round is that the m, that 1.5, is called the rate of change, or the gradient, or the unit rate. Now if we go into this picture and go in a little bit more detail, then as we move along from here to here, can you see we've moved one box along, and upwards we've moved 1.5 euros. From here to the next point, one box along and up 1.5 euros. One box along and up 1.5 euros. Right, so on here this is 1 along, and this is 1.5 up, 1.5 up, 1.5 up. And it's this number going up for every one along that is the unit rate. And can you see that actually is the cost for one box, or the average cost of the biscuits. So all of those points and those pictures make this relationship directly proportional. So you just have to get used to the words. Directly proportional means all of those things. Now over here, why is this not directly proportional? If you look at this picture here, look at the graph, it's a straight line. This graph is also a straight line, but this is actually not directly proportional. So we need to unpack this a little bit. So let's go and read this. So the graph above shows the cost of going to a gym in Bardishall. Okay, on the x-axis is the number of months, and the y-axis is the total cost for that number of months. So let's go and write down some numbers attached to this. How much does it cost for 2 months? Well, here's 2 months. If we just go up to the cost here and go across, can you see that every square on the y-axis is 10? So that's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So that's definitely 90. So the cost for 2 months is 90 euros. And if it costs 90 euros for 2 months, then the average cost for each month is 90 divided by 2 is 45. So if you only sign up to the gym for 2 months, you're paying an average of 45 each month and a total of 90 euros. So how much does it cost for 3? So this would be 3 here. And again, if we go up, we can see, I think, that it's here. All right, and that is 110. So 110 euros. And the average cost is 110 divided by 3. And if you do that in your calculator, that is 30, let's see, 3 times 30 is 90. And we've got a left, so I think that's 36.67 if we round it to 2dp. Okay, so the total euros is 110, but the average per month is 36.67. So you can see it's a different average. And then 4 months, let's go back to here. 4 months, I think I can see, is 130. And 130 divided by 4 is for the average. And that would give us 32.50 euros. All right then, and how much does it cost for 0 months? Well, that's a bit weird, because if you didn't go to the gym for 0 months, then would you pay anything? But the question's quite interesting, because if you sign up for the gym membership, you walk into the gym, you would have to hand over $50 just to let you sign up for the gym. And that's even if you didn't use it. So that's weird, right? How much does it cost for 0 months? Is 50 euros. And what does this mean? This is kind of like a sign-up cost. This is just to allow you to actually enter the gym, and then every month you have to pay some extra cash. Okay, so if we think about what this is going on, let's see if this particular picture and situation, and over here I think I'm going to draw a table of values now as well with those figures in. This is the months, and this is the cost in euros, and I've got 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I've got 0 and I'll put 1 in there. So 0 is 50, 2 months was 90, 110, 130, and I can read off 1, which is 70. So it looks like there is a pattern in the numbers. They definitely go up by 20 euros for each extra month. Now let's just go and read off the checklist. Which of these does the graph not follow? So let's say the graph is a straight line. Well, definitely the graph is a straight line. The graph passes through the origin. Well, it doesn't. All the x and y coordinates on the line follow the same rule. Well, this is quite interesting because they actually do follow the same rule. The rule's just a little bit more complicated. So from here to here, it's actually 4 times the months. Sorry, my bad, let me just alter that. As we look down here, for every extra month, we're paying an extra 20 euros. So 20 times the number of months plus the 50 euros gives us the cost. You just try that. If you do this particular one here, 4, and feed it in here, 4 times 20 is 80, plus 50 is 130. Try this one, 2. 2 times 20 is 40, plus 50 is 90. So there is a rule, and the points, the input and output, the x and y do follow the rule. So for sure all the x and y coordinates on the line follow the same rule. But you can see that the rule cannot be written as m multiplied by x. It's actually mx plus an extra number. Okay, and then the last thing, m is called the rate of change or gradient or unit rate. Well, actually, if you think about it, the 20 here is multiplying the x variable, and so this 20 does actually work out to be the rate or the gradient. It's the cost for every extra month. So that's actually true at the bottom, even though the formula isn't quite mx, but the m here is the gradient. All right. So if we go on and have a little look at some of these graphs here, we're going to just go straight to this first one and see, do all the numbers follow the same simple rule? Is it x times something to give y? And the answer is, well, yeah, I think it's the x numbers times 4 give y. So pretty much that's going to help us understand that if we drew a graph of this and we plotted the points, it would indeed be a straight line which would go through the origin. So this is directly proportional. I think we can see here that this doesn't go through 0, 0. So if it fails just one of the parts, we can say no, this is not directly proportional. And if we look at this, this is a It's a straight line. It goes through the origin. If you look at some of the numbers here, this point here is 2. I'll just make that a little bit thinner. If I choose a different pen, that might help. This is the X, this is the Y. So 2, 3. Let me choose another one here. Maybe this one here. I think that's 6, 9. And if you do a little bit of calculation from here to here is times 1.5. So it's Y equals 1.5 times by X. And let's just go over the page and have a little word question. So let's have a look at this one. Rideshare companies are becoming a common mode of transportation. All right then. In order to compete with the current pricing strategies, there is a new company called Wheels. And the charge is going to be $2 for every 3 minutes of driving time. So let's think about a table of values. Time and cost. It looks like it's for 3 minutes. It's going to be $2. Okay, so it'd be nice to work out the average cost. The average cost is $2 divided by 3 minutes. Now you can put that in your calculator, or you can just leave it exactly like this. And so in fact, the rule going from here to here is time in minutes times by 2/3 gives you the cost. Okay, so if you're going to put a 7-minute journey here, you would be looking at 7 minutes times by 2/3. Again, if you put that in your calculator, 7 times 2 divided by 3, 4.666666, and we round it to 4.67. That would be 4.67, and this is dollars.